Hello everybody, this is Cholera bringing you set 3 of the MST Group 10, and this is a match between Firebat Hero and Yellow Arnc. Actually this game started a little bit ago, but I think there was a technical difficulty and they paused the game for about 5 minutes, so I just decided to skip it. Anyway, this is Firebat Hero spawning in white at the 11 o'clock. He's facing, very fittingly, Yellow Arnc in yellow at the 7 o'clock. This map is Byzantium, one of the new maps for the MBC, for the MSL. And it's the map where you start off on the valley and your natural expansion's on top of a plateau, and there's another natural expansion without gas also on the plateau ringing your base. So I think this is going to be a much closer match than the first two were. Firebat Hero 64% against Zerg, of course most well known for beating Savior, but also having beaten many other Zerg players in his past. And YArnc's strongest matchups against Terran, he's 61% against Terran. And if he has any of Luxury's flash beating genetics, which of course he has all of them, he should be doing very well in this matchup. Anyway, so we see Yellow's not going for the 9 pool, he's building that Overlord, and we are seeing the supply depot inside the base for Firebat Hero, so no fast 8 racks or anything crazy like that. I think since this is a new map, both are probably going to stick to fairly safe builds here. I think it's going to be a little bit, perhaps, a Terran favorite on this map, although not exactly sure though. I haven't seen enough matches to decide who it favors. But I think since the natural expansion is a little bit easier to defend for the Terran, I think it actually will be slightly Terran favorite. Anyway, YArnc building his hatchery at 12, I believe, and now sending out a scouting drone just in case there was something fishy coming from Firebat Hero. Really, Firebat Hero reminds me a lot of Usain Bolt, of course the Jamaican sprinter who's been breaking records left and right and winning gold medals and then showing off to the crowds. He just reminds me of that, except he's not as good as Usain Bolt, unfortunately, or not as consistently good at least. And now we are seeing the SCV getting to the Zerg position first here, so both are going to scout in the right direction. Interesting enough, YArnc choosing to get the drone scout. In general, we don't see Zerg players do that against Terran, or against anyone for that matter, but I guess he was worried enough about a possible proxy barracks or fast rush of some sort. And now we are seeing the command center coming down for Firebat Hero. He's been going for that fast expand. That's the advantage of this map. We'll see if YArnc decides to take his second expansion. No, it looks like he won't take his second expansion, building the third hatchery inside of his base. I actually question that a little bit, although I think the third base is a little bit more difficult to hold, but I think overall I think the Zerg players should plant it if they are going for the 3 hatchery build. I think they should double expand if the Terran has gone for a fast expand like this, but at least that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of issues they have to consider, mainly in terms of how easy it will be to hold and the geography of the map. Anyway, gas going up for YArnc, and I'll be expecting on this map that he'll probably start off with the fairly standard Muleless Arnc. I think the natural expansion is fairly vulnerable to Muleless Arnc, however the main base is not. As you can see, the main base is very safely pushed right up next to the side of the map, so the Muleless really don't have any ability to get into it. But since Firebat Hero has expanded early, he will be able to at least attack the natural expansion with those Mulelisks. And we're seeing the SCV being escorted out of the base by armed guard by that Zergling over there. And, Firebat Hero, transferring his SCVs just a second early, but that's okay. And allowing a Zergling to get into his base, but that Zergling really isn't going to see anything. Oh, Firebat Hero, some nice micro, but Zergling gets in anyway, but there's really not much to see. It's just going to be the barracks and not even an academy up yet, so you know, really when the Terran goes for the fast command center, there really isn't that much room for innovation, unless they're suicidal and they decide to go for some kind of crazy factory build. That Zergling getting among there, okay. Finally the Zergling goes down. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to see, but you know, it's still important to just make sure they're not doing something creative. And we are seeing the lair go up now for YArnc. If I were YArnc, of course, I'd be building lurkers, but that is the only thing I know how to do. And now we're seeing Firebat Hero deciding to put a little pressure on YArnc here. He's sending down just a couple of unescorted Marines, and he could be in trouble here if he meets these Zerglings. Looks like he will meet the Zerglings, and you know, if if YArnc really pushed there, I think he could have actually taken the Marines out. But YArnc with some mistaken micro there, some mistakes in micro, losing a couple of Zerglings needlessly. And now these Marines actually are getting close to YArnc, but YArnc has speed upgrade now, and I think they're going to be able to take care of the Marines with a surround. If he gets a couple more Zerglings coming in from front, I think they should be okay. I think YArnc should be okay and should be able to pick off this group over here. Looks like he's going to pick off one Marine, and of course this is the danger of leading your Marines out without any medics. Going for this very early push is that they're very susceptible to a speed upgraded Zerglings. And YArnc might be going for a flank here. He might actually be able to sneak into Firebat Hero's base, in which case Firebat Hero will be in big trouble here. And Firebat Hero looks like he's not going to be able to hold the ramp. Barely is he going to hold the ramp. The Firebat Hero trying to come up, and the Firebat Heroes get there. I said that on purpose. And it looks like YArnc will lose these Zerglings now, although he's managed to pick off a couple of these Marines. Not bad there by YArnc, managing to pick off more Marines than he should have, I think. Firebat Hero very audacious there with that little push, but ultimately I think that push was not worth it. And now he really won't be able to pressure YArnc very much. YArnc safely has held his first two bases. He won't need to build any more than just that one sunken colony, and now he's going for the Mulisks. And really, Firebat Hero's his Marine count is down significantly at this point. He doesn't have any turrets going up. Of course, he's got to expect that Mulisks are just about to come. And he only has 5 Marines right now. That's going to be a big problem. He should have about a dozen Marines, but he lost them while going out for that fruitless foray towards YArnc's base. And he's also been forced, of course, to build those 2 Firebats, which aren't going to be very useful. Early factory, too, or fairly early factory coming from Firebat Hero. Firebat Hero building 3 turrets in his main base. He's going to need them as soon as possible. And we'll see if YArnc decides to use his Mulisk to try to pick off this diminished Marine force. He could almost do that, in fact. And oh, Firebat Hero once again losing a Marine there. I thought it was going to be a little worse, but no. And now I think Firebat Hero is going to try to pressure YArnc a little bit, but I think YArnc's Mulisks should be just about out right now. And we'll see if YArnc has followed the quote-unquote savior build by putting down that Hydralisk and also for the Lurkers immediately. We still don't see another expansion yet, though, for YArnc, so he could be just going for a lot of Mulisks, and he's going to try to take the game right now. We'll have to see. YArnc with about 9 Mulisks now approaching Firebat Hero's base. Those Firebat Heroes, unfortunately, are not heroic enough to shoot up, and he managing to pick off 2 SCVs here, and the turrets are half done, so nice work there by YArnc. We'll see if he decides to harass or to kill the Medic Marines. I prefer when the Zerg do the harass. I really think, just from the many TVZ games I've watched, when the Zerg player does not do the harass, I think they're worse off. I know obviously that's biased because sometimes, and YArnc losing a Zerg, sometimes they can't harass simply because they're already behind and hence they have to pick off the Medic Marines. But, you know, in this case, we are going to see YArnc, I think, going for the SCVs pretty soon now. Now that he's killed the turrets that are trying to be built in the front base, he's built a lot of Zerglings, just like I suspected. He's going to try and end the game early, or at least cripple Firebat Hero going into the mid-game. And I think this is definitely different from what you see most Zerg players do. They settle for the long game. They don't stay in Mulis very long. I see YArnc not putting out his extra expansion. That means he will have the extra minerals temporarily to build up a force, but he has to stop losing Mulisk like this. I think he only has about 5 Mulisks right now. And yes, his Mulisk count is definitely diminishing here in this stack. And really not great micro by YArnc there, but now he does have the Zerglings out. He's going to need to pick off those Firebats. If he can pick off those Firebats, he looks like he might snipe those Firebats. Sniping off those Firebats, that could be absolutely critical in the game. Firebat Hero needs his Firebats, and looks like he won't have them. Forced to use those SCVs to block. Meanwhile, he can't defend his barracks or his mineral line. Those Zerglings at bottom of time bought YArnc enough time to pick off a couple of medics and probably some SCVs also.